Namaskar, good evening. You're watching PM eVidya channels and NCERT's official YouTube channel. I am Rahul and we bring you the live telecast of a webinar session in which we talk about ICT tools and some various important topics. And today is a very important day because we are celebrating Cyber Jaagrookta Diwas every Wednesday, every first Wednesday of every month. This is launched by Ministry of Home Affairs. So this is a very important initiative for each and everyone and all the stakeholders, including students, parents, teachers, and those who are using cyber services. So the topic of today's webinar is very important and it is related to our children. Topic is offenses by children and on children in the cyberspace. So we have three very eminent personalities with us as a guest in this esteemed presentation of NCERT. Professor Dr. Debarati Haldar, she's a founder of Parole Institute of Law and honorary MD of Center for Cyber Victim Counseling. Dr. Haldar, namaskar and a very warm welcome in the session. And we have also Ms. Simi P. She's a member of ISEA CDEC Hyderabad Center. Ms. Simi, namaskar and a very warm welcome to you.
Thank you, Mr. Rahul.
Good to have you in this show. Thank you very much. Dr. Angel Rathnabai, she's assistant professor from CIET, NCERT. She's also with us. Dr. Angel, namaskar and a very warm welcome.
A very good evening, Rahul.
Good evening to all of you, and I'm very happy to host for this session for all of you. So, Dr. Angel, I request you to please take over and please take away, forward this session.
Thank you, Mr. Rahul, and it's we are here again back with a new topic and a theme to be discussed under the Cyber Jaagrookta Diwas. And I welcome all the participants who are attending this session, and we are happy that we have an expert to also help us to little bit explore in this area. We all are aware about the cyber safety is becoming a very essential thing because of many students and teachers and the schools are being online now. Even otherwise, other than this pandemic also, we have now started using online education and digital education in a day-to-day life. So it's very important to know the safety aspects. So Cyber Jaagrookta Diwas is the initiative to create awareness among various stakeholders on cyber safety and security. So every month we are taking one theme, and this month we have taken the theme trying to understand what are the various offenses that are which are being done by the student in the cyberspace, as well as how our children are becoming the victim. As per the policy, if we see the National Educational Policy 2022, it insists upon a safe school environment. And now, as we all are aware that schools are no more restricted to the four walls and in the building, school is happening in the cyberspace. It's very important to consider the safety with respect to the cyberspace also. And as per the statistics, we see like there are multiple children every day, they are becoming a prey to the cyber crimes, and many times as parents, as a teacher, and sometimes as a school administrator or being a relative of a child, we never try to accept that our children can also be part of cyber crime. We are not ready to many times accept that my child can do cyber crime. So that is a kind of thought. We believe that our value system are there, so our children may not indulge in such activities, but that's not the reality. And we know that when our child is becoming a victim, there is somebody else who is also a child of another person who is becoming a person who is really doing the cyber crime. So it's very important for us to understand what kind of cyber crime or offenses is happening, and it's very important to understand how to handle it. So we have an expert today with us who's going to really take us through these points so that we really, as educators, being a stakeholders, as a school administrator or a teacher, even as a student or a parent, we try to understand how we will handle offenses which we are going to come across in the place or which we are facing it. So this is going to be a very good session for us to explore new things, and keep watching the whole session. And also at the end we have a quiz which we are going to launch today, and we'll be giving the detail at the end. Now I request Ms. Simi to give a little bit what are the areas to be discussed, and also Professor Halda to give us inputs and insights into this area.
Thank you so much, Madam. Firstly, let me thank NCRT and Ms. Angela for giving us this opportunity, and also the efforts which are being put forth for improving the cybersecurity awareness, which is most crucial in this current age of cyber age, where each and every person is going online. We can see that in the current, as per the current statistics, India has reached the second largest nation of internet users. With 600 million users, we stand second as a nation. With the rise of this internet, we have also seen a rise in the cyber crimes. And with the right kind of a background, which Ms. Angela has set up and she has spoken about, children are most prone to in this kind of a scenario, wherein they get to actually interact with the cyberspace and are not aware of the threats which are inbuilt in that particular space. Are they exposed to those particular threats, and it is necessary as teachers, parents and society as large to know what are those particular threats, to be secured from them, and to know about what kind of mechanisms are in place to take action against them. So moving ahead with today's topic of cyber crimes by children and against the children, I request today's expert on the subject, Dr. Haldar, to kindly elaborate on the subject and let us know what and how are the cyber offenses that are possible for the children to commit and also fall prey to. Madam Haldar, can you take it over from here?
Thank you so much, Madam, and also NCRT, SIDAC, to give me this platform and for inviting me. First of all, I will start with the understanding of child. As a senior professor of Parul Institute of Law, Parul University, my responsibility to my students, that is the law students, who are basically ambassadors of law to the society at large, is to make them understand who is a child. Why this understanding is necessary is that we are going to heavily depend on Information Technology Act, on POXO Act, on Juvenile Justice Care and Protection Act. All these provisions basically state that any person includes any child also, if they commit a crime against any person, again, when such any person is any child, then what are the punishments that are awaiting, and what is the rehabilitation mechanism, what is the victim justice delivery mechanism. So in such case, first of all, we need to understand who is a child. Section 212 of the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection Act, which has been amended in 2015 also, clearly says that any individual who is under the age of 18. Now, when we see child, the definition of child, again, as you can get to see here, the definition of child can be broadly divided into two understandings. That is, child in need of care and protection and child in conflict with law. I'm not going in detail about who is a child in need of care and protection as the JJ Act says, or who is the child in conflict with laws, again as the law says. But very briefly, what we understand is that child in conflict with law is a child who has broken the law. That means that who has done some kind of criminal offenses, etc., and who is actually standing on the other side of law. At the same time, we are also getting to see child in need of care and protection. You may have got it rightly. Those children who are victims can be considered as child in need of care and protection of law. But when we broadly explain these two understandings, especially Section 214 of the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection Act, we may also get to see that those children who have broken the law may also be considered to a certain extent, and related to some conditions also, these children can also be considered as child in need of care and protection. Now, why this question comes? Because those children who are breaking the law, especially on the cyberspace, actually, if we do a little research behind their activities, we may get to see that they may have been in such a situation where they have done this activity because they are in need of care and protection also. However, the law also provides different kinds of treatment for such children who have broken the law, but at the same time, they may also be in need of care and protection. So with this understanding, let me go to the next slide, that is children as predators, especially children who are who have broken the law. First of all, let me tell you that there can be two major understanding about children committing offense. One is traditional physical space offenses, the other is cyber crimes. When I say about traditional physical space offenses, you can imagine all kinds of physical space offenses, including theft, or for example, any sort of bodily attack on other persons, or for example, many other petty offenses also, including some kinds of substance abuse, etc. All these things might come under traditional physical space offenses. But when we actually try to connect it with cyber crimes, one more thing that comes in our mind is also stealing of the devices. Nowadays, we are going to see that there are lots of cyber crimes happening through the stolen phones or stolen devices. Now, we have to accept the fact that many children, including street children, are being engaged in such kinds of theft of cyber devices or electronic devices. The other one, as we are getting to see, is completely cyber offenses that may happen on the virtual offenses. To elaborate a little bit, nowadays we all know that street children or children who are in conflict with law, they might be trained in some other gangs to do some kinds of traditional as well as virtual criminal offenses. So in this, we all know that one profitable criminal offense is stealing the electronic devices. And such devices, if stolen, I'm just talking about something which is a very traditional physical space offense. When an electronic device is stolen by a child, you would get to see that the child would be knowing that how to operate that device. So the child may be able to open that phone, the child or the device, the child may be able to go inside the profiles, and the child may be able to extract the data from such phones, because the adults who may have engaged him in such kinds of theft activity, etc., may not be that tech savvy. The other kind of crime that we are getting to see is that nobody will tell the child to do such things, but the child will be having the mentality to do such kinds of criminal offenses on the cyberspace. Keeping this in mind, let us go to the next slide. So here comes the question that why the child will be doing certain offenses that are considered as heavy cyber offenses on the virtual platforms, and on this we do get to see offenses, punishable offenses in the Information Technology Act also. So these the reasons could be availability of tools to commit offense. That means the child may be having access to the phone, the devices, the tablets, or for example the laptops, etc. The child may be having proper knowledge of how to handle such devices, etc. Next, we get to see intelligence to execute the offenses in a near perfect way. What is the meaning of this? Nowadays, we do get to see that a child as young as 5 or 6 years of age also knows how to operate certain profiles on social media platforms. Such young children may also know how to monitor, or say for example monitor in the sense how to operate smart TVs from smartphones. They also may know that how to operate Internet of Things, etc., because they are staying with people who may or may not be aware of certain tricks, certain intelligent tools, that's what we say. So in a near perfect way, they know that how to use parent's profile, how to go to some other profile from the parent's profile, and because they are exposed to the big bad World Wide Web, I'm using the term bad World Wide Web, so they would also be knowing there are lots of information available on the websites, on the World Wide Web, as to how to commit certain kinds of, I call it tricks, but it can be considered as negative tricks. Say for example, if somebody's phone has been locked accidentally, so call the child, he or she would be knowing how to open it. But the parent, the guardian, the adult may not know that they are basically instigating the child, they are basically motivating the child to commit an offense, because that unlocking of the phone must be done in a proper legal way. There can be several ways of, reasons for locking a phone. So by that, the child is knowing that how to unlock the phone. So suppose, for example, if the parents have kept the phone, when the child grows a little bit matured enough, maybe the parent does not want the child to see some contents, etc. So the electronic devices have been kept in a locked child lock mode, but the child knows how to open it. Next, we get to see knowledge of vulnerable sections of the victims. Nowadays, so many informations are available on the World Wide Web. So the child basically knows that, who are the vulnerable sections. For example, any boy, unfortunately, we have got to see this gender divide also. Any boy would be knowing that why a girl becomes a very vulnerable victim because of her gender, obviously, because of her reputation in the society, etc. So you get to see so many criminal offenses which are done by children against children, and in such cases we do get to see male children, they are attacking their female classmates in the class or in the school. Again, vice versa may also happen. Obviously there are so many instances, but when we get to see the reports, NCRB reports or the police reports, we unfortunately get to see that the girls are becoming more targets if you compare to the numbers. I mean, if you just compare the numbers rather than the male victims. Knowledge to operate the smart devices, as I stated, that the knowledge to operate the smart devices basically starts with the very young children, because maybe the parents are telling them that you have to operate, you should know, so they know that how to operate the very hi-fi systems also. Let us go to the next slide. So there are basically different kinds of criminal offenses that we are getting to see, which can be done by the children against the children, by the children against the adults also. Because if you remember, just in the last slide, I stated that say for example, unlocking any phone, or for example, operating any profile, or for example, accessing some profile, etc., without any proper authorization, etc., these will be already known to the child, because it is expected, or because the child is gaining the information from the World Wide Web. So here what we get to see, privacy infringement. It would be wrong to understand that privacy infringement always means sexual privacy infringement. No. Privacy infringement, then comes speech crimes, then comes gaming related criminal activities, and then sexual offenses. Let me start with the privacy infringement. As I just mentioned, that the child would be getting to see that how to enter into some profile without actually letting the owner of the profile know that the child has entered into that profile. Say for example, if the child gets to learn the tricks unauthorized access, which we in local understanding call as hacking. So the child will be knowing that how to hack into others' profile. I have seen many children, they learn these tricks of hacking, and then they try to apply it not only on their classmates or friends, but the first targets are their own parents or their other adult family members. So what they do is that if a device is kept, or if a phone is kept in a locked way, or if certain phones or electronic items, or for example any profiles, any content, including I have seen parents' official laptops, devices, etc., they are in a locked condition. That means you cannot enter into the the entire system without accessing the informations, etc. Those laptops, those devices are also hacked into. The privacy is infringed by their own child. And as Madam just now told, that it is very difficult for the parents to believe that my own child has done it to me. So this is actually the beginning of the criminal activities at home, which the parents basically do not want to keep it, share it with others. See, one thing happens that one thing it happens when the parent basically sees that my child is doing something which is not a very legal activity, and at that time, if the parent considers that no, I will take the child to the counselor, or I will make the child to understand, there itself the child will know that no, this is a criminal offense. Next, as you get to see speech crimes. What is meant by speech crimes? For example, bullying. Now, this bullying incidences in the classroom or in the school, groups, etc., we are getting to see it is increasing. Why it is happening? Because, as Madam just now stated, that nowadays, since past 1.5 years, we have seen that the schools have turned into virtual schools. So, in the virtual schools, I have seen many children, they in their own WhatsApp groups or in their other social media groups, they would be using very harsh language, etc., for targeting other children. Not only that, as I mentioned, that there would be criminal offences, there would be some speech crimes, etc., against the teachers also. So what happens is that many times I have seen that the delivery of the study materials, or for example the lectures, etc., are not understood by the teachers, students. At the same time, maybe the student was not attentive because it is virtual classroom. So what the student could have done, the student could have started the class and he or she would have gone either sleeping or he was watching something else. So when the exam time comes, now starts the question of, or now start the issue of defaming the teacher, because the question papers, etc., may not be according to the expectancy of the, or may not be according to the wanting of the child. The child may not have concentrated, or the child may not have read the portions that the teachers have shared. So in such cases, the child will start creating some kind of defamatory content. Now here also, neither the teacher nor the parent would be accepting the fact that it is our child who have done these things against us. But look at the consequence. The child is very smart not to keep it between the teacher and the child, but the child will be sharing certain contents which will be there on the World Wide Web forever. For example, if the child creates any meme, if the child has taken a screenshot from the online classes and have created a mashed up video for YouTube, etc., or if the child has shared some personal moments of the teacher because he had got the access to the profile of the teacher in any social media platforms, then the teacher will be publicly humiliated, publicly defamed. And that is what the child basically would enjoy. That is what the child basically would sadistically enjoy if the child is not happy with the teacher, even in the online classroom also. Next is something which is very, very important and significant in today's day, is that gaming related offences. You ask me any sort of gaming, say for example, in 2020 when the lockdown started, tell me what was the game that was very, very popular, online game. If any one of you can actually think about, it was none other than PUBG. Now consider why PUBG would be considered as an offensive game. Anybody can think of 2020? We all saw that our children were basically sitting with PUBG, even if the classes were going on, but the children were so much engaged in PUBG that the governments in in many states, they considered that the game PUBG should be considered as a banned game. In Gujarat, where I am presently staying, I have seen that the government of Gujarat had also taken very strict action against PUBG. But then, is PUBG really a very dangerous game, or in that manner, is any gaming content so dangerous? In my understanding, it may not have been, because it is actually teaching children certain ethics and certain values also. But consider that why the children are becoming so aware, and why the parents also are becoming so much aware about PUBG as, or any other gaming site, as a very risky game, because it is also taking our data. It is also allowing other children and adults to interact with the child, especially those who are strangers, and also to have a continuous interaction with the child as a stranger. Next, obviously, we get to see many sorts of sexual offences, which I will be discussing later in this presentation. So as we get to see, such offences can be basically divided into three main portions: petty offences, including theft of smart devices, etc., These offences, if you see the legal provisions, may not come with heavy punishments. So the judicial magistrate, if it is reported, the child is a first time offender or it is a petty offence. So in the JJB, the judicial magistrate may consider admonishing the child and then telling the parents to be more aware of what the child is doing. Next, we get to see serious offences and heinous offences. So in such kinds of offences, what sort of offences we do get to see? Say for example, stalking, proxy stalking, cyber stalking, I'm talking about filming rape. Now this, from here, we get to see some kinds of heinous offences. Not to forget about the Nirbhaya case. And here, you get to see that how a child, that is an underage, a minor, had been engaged in filming some very violent content, very sexual offences, etc. Again, when we see about heinous offence also, grave bodily injury, etc. But when I'm talking about such kinds of offences, have you ever seen your child standing in an accident spot and taking some clippings, etc.? And what they are doing, they're basically taking it in their phones and then again they're sharing it to the worldwide web. Is it allowed? In my understanding, no. Because teach your child, or we have to tell our child that when you are getting to see a gathering, when you are getting to see an accident, rather than taking a clipping, etc., go and help the victim, call the police. But clipping these, taking the picture, recording these things, it can be considered as illegal. Now coming to the question of children as victims of cyberspace, victims on cyberspace. As we saw that the children can be the predators, the children can be playing as against the children also. Now we would be getting to see children as victims. So first and foremost, we have to be aware about sexual offences that may happen to children, especially cyber sexual offences. Before I discuss about cyber sexual offences, we have to look to the POCSO Act, Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act. I will be discussing about Section 67B of the Information Technology Act immediately after this. So if we see POCSO Act, we do get to see there are three kinds of offences: penetrative sexual offence, sexual assault and sexual harassment of children, and last but not the least is cyber sexual offences. In these three boxes that you are getting to see, the more heavier offence, as I mentioned, heinous offences, basically goes to penetrative sexual assault, where the offence, that is the punishment, can even be up to lifetime imprisonment. And again, please note that the POCSO Act and JJ Act also, especially POCSO Act, says whoever does this. That means if it is a child offender also, he or she is not spared. That means he or she would be subject to the punishment according to maturity. But with this, now we have to see what kind of sexual assaults are actually considered as within the meaning of cyber sexual assaults. Now, if we see this box, we get to see that there are separate legal provisions you are getting to see: penetrative sexual assault and filming. Again, I have to go back to Nirbhaya case, where all of us have seen that a minor has been engaged in filming a rape scene or violent rape scene. As I mentioned, if you remember in the first slide, that children can be considered, children in conflict with law can be considered as children who are in need of care and protection. Don't think that those children, that means those individuals who are under the age of 18, they are very happy filming the rape scenes, because it may have very bad traumatizing effect on their own mindset. So in such cases, they may also need some kind of counseling. Next, we get to see aggravated penetrative sexual assault and filming, which also includes gang rape and filming of such things. Obviously, for these things, the punishment is very heavy. Then comes non-penetrative sexual assault. What are these things? These are basically sexual assault on a child, sexual assault including aggravated sexual assault on a child, and filming these aggravated sexual assault. And the last one that we get to see, sexual harassment. Now here, we are getting to see many other kinds of criminal offences which are coming, which can be conveyed to the child or which can be shown to the child. For example, grooming. If any adult or if any senior child, that means from the age group of 16 to 18, he starts doing these things or she starts doing these things to his or her friends, etc. Or for example, cyber stalking. throwing bad remarks, sexually explicit remarks, etc. These all can be considered as sexual harassment, including creation of pornographic contents or sexually explicit content, depending on what sort of language, what sort of contents are being used for creating such contents. Next, what we get to see is child online sexual abuse. Again, we have to consider POCSO Act, and here we get to see using children for creating porn contents. Now, there are many ways of using children for creating porn contents, and as parents, as guardians, we may not be knowing what are the ways. Many times we leave the children alone, and even this can happen to senior, matured adolescent children also. That means up to the age group of 17 also, if they get any chat message, or if they get any message whereby the other person is telling, it can be a child, it can be an adult also, grooming and then asking the child to be nude in front of the screen, or for example removing the dresses while the messages are going on, where the communication is going on, and the child is performing what the groomer or what the other side so-called friend is also doing. So in all such cases, we can consider this is child online sexual abuse. That means using the child for creating porn content. Next, we get to see storing of porn content. Now, this is something which can be done by the children as well as by the adults. Again, the child becomes a victim. In this case, I remember a very pertinent, significant case which had happened, in South India, where a person was penalized because it was found he was data mining from the Facebook profiles of the parents, and he was taking up the children's photographs, children as young as 1 or 2 years old, and he was creating a database for porn contents. So he was arrested, and now he is presently undergoing punishment. Child porn related laws, that is making, sharing, producing, etc., child pornographic contents, and this has also been dealt with under section 67B of the Information Technology Act, which generally is now read with the POCSO Act. Now, please do remember that all these sexual offences can be done against male as well as female children. Next, let me go for patterns of non-sexual cyber victimization. As I mentioned about the speech crime, game-related crime, so here are these offences that can happen against the children also. Illegal downloading of illegal contents. How and why the child becomes a victim. Now, say for example that this can be done by the children, this can be done against the children also. If any child has uploaded a content on YouTube or any other platform which is created by the child. So in such cases, if other person is uploading or infringing these copyrights also, or any songs, etc., or even for example any clippings that has been created by the child as a school assignment also, in such cases the child becomes the victim, because it is not only the personal identifiable images that are being downloaded without consent, but also the copyright violation is also being done. Introducing virus to the devices. Obviously, in such cases, if the child unfortunately accidentally clicks on some devices, etc., that can be considered as a virus affected, etc. Creating impersonating profiles, that is fake profiles. Obviously, this can be non-sexual also. Unauthorized access to the contents of the child, that is child profiles, email IDs, etc., and that can be considered, as I just mentioned, hacking and hacking related offences. Bullying, trolling, online defamation of the child, etc. How we can forget about what happened last year, 2021, when we got to see 2021 as zero exam year. But we also have got to see there had been several children who had been targeting other children, who had been misusing other children because they did not want to appear for the online exams, or they wanted the exams to be postponed. Such cases has been reported from many states, including Gujarat also, very reputed schools, even from NCR, Delhi NCR also, where we have got to see that the children have been blackmailing their own friends, their teachers, by sextortion, or even, for example, creation of revenge pornographic contents, etc. And in such cases, we did get to see the police could not solve the case till now. So in all such cases, what we get to see, the children can be victimized, and the children can also be kind of perpetrators for committing such crimes against children. Now comes the question as how to address this problem. What is the reporting mechanism? Obviously, if any such kinds of criminal activities happen, First of all, the children are always suggested report the matters to the parents so that the parents can take the matters to the police, to the other government authorities. I'll be discussing it here. Report to the websites intermediaries. Not to forget that once any child related matter, child victimization related matter, whether it is a sexual matter or whether it is a non-sexual matter, is reported to any intermediary, any websites, and if they do not take it down, we now have Information Technology Act Rules 2021, which actually prescribes strict punishment for even the intermediaries or websites if they do not take it down. And the intermediaries and websites, it is the liability of these intermediaries or websites to basically support the police to find out who the original uploader was, who the original content creator was. Because of this understanding, the police can very well nab the offender. Next, obviously, we can definitely think of reporting the matters if you do not get, or if you cannot find any reporting mechanism because you may not be aware. You do not report it to the websites or you do not report it to the schools, etc. Please feel free to contact your child welfare committee. Please feel free to contact the courts directly, the police, the juvenile police directly. And with that, please also see mandatorily cybercrimes.gov.in. Now, how to go ahead for cybercrimes.gov.in? This platform, this is a government platform. This platform very clearly and very explicitly mentions what to report, how to report, and where to report. Even children can also go ahead for reporting the cybercrime related activities, whether it is sexual or whether it is non-sexual. As you can get to see, I will put my cursor here, report anonymously. This is something, that's the reason I started with Juvenile Justice Care and Protection Act. Our laws in India and also worldwide, they give a protection of confidentiality to the reporter of any criminal activity, especially when the victim is a child. So in this platform, one can report anonymously. Otherwise, another can also, other persons can also report and then track. Here, what happens is that, suppose, for example, I as a friend or I as a parent of my child, I do not want others to know that it is my child or it is my friend who has been victimized. But I have seen, that means I'm a witness, and also I'm a bystander. I'm getting to see that every day the criminal activities against that particular child victim or any other victim in that matter is actually increasing. So we can lodge the matter, we can lodge the criminal case in this button, and from here we can also track. Do not think that because it is an online platform, so nobody is going to contact me. No. From here, the cases will be reached to the concerned police officers, and the police officer maintaining all the confidentiality, they will be assisting us to get some kind of justice. They will also start their investigation. And here again, we are getting to see report other cyber criminal activities. So any offense, if you get to see not only against the children but also against the adults, including, say for example, financial offenses, etc., definitely this platform is going to help us out. Next, what we get to see here, if you see the other picture that I have inserted, this is a screenshot from cybercrimes.gov.in. You are getting to see this platform is basically connected with many other stakeholders, NCW, NCPCR, and then many other government institutions, which are going to help us, not only the children but also adult women, men also, and also how to forget those people who are falling within the category of transgenders. Not to forget that those children who are basically categorized or who are having gender orientation issues, they can also file cases, especially when they get to see any sort of bullying activities, any sort of image-based violence, etc. You can definitely consider these platforms. Other than that, obviously, if you feel that no, these platforms, I'm still hesitant, definitely you can contact people like us, and we will be leading you for filing your complaints with the police or with the other government measures. Thank you so much. Now I open the platform for any questions, and we can also consider some other kind of activities.
Thank you so much, madam, for bringing out the serious issues which the children are facing today. Especially, as Madam Angel had mentioned it, we never know that, and we never try to understand the seriousness of how these children can get affected with the kind of big bad World Wide Web which is out there. So your presentation has brought out those particular points very clearly and the seriousness involved in these particular aspects. Effectively mentioned all those particular points and brought out certain cases also which were reported very recently. And yes, the reporting mechanism which has been brought out by MHA, Ministry of Home Affairs, cybercrime.gov.in, and also the site also mentions the helpline number 155260, which people can actually access and call the particular helpline number to find help and also find out how to actually access the help. And additionally, one more point, if I could add, there were a number of cybercrime police stations which have been opened up, realizing this kind of seriousness of the offences in various states. So even the viewers can understand that the information related to these particular cybercrime police stations is available on the site cybercrime.gov.in with a lot of other information which you can access and make use of. So all the viewers take benefit of this particular presentation given by the expert Dr. Haldar, and I hope it will be a beneficial one.
Ms. Simi, can you also please tell a little about what are the activities ISEA is doing regarding creating this awareness? And I know that there is a website also which is being maintained where there are a lot of resources. Can you please give a little hint on that so that the resources may be utilized by various stakeholders?
Sure, ma'am. Thank you. Information Security Education and Awareness, or ISEA, is an initiative and a project which has been taken under by Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India. The main aim of this particular initiative and the project is to develop core research manpower in the area of cybersecurity, train the government officials in this particular area, and generate mass awareness for every user segments which are available in the cyberspace. And all this is being done by ISEA with CDAC Hyderabad as the coordinating agency for the National Awareness Program. Now, ISEA also has a website, infosecawareness.in, on which it caters to various cybersecurity information related content, quizzes. It also hosts, apart from the website, it hosts quizzes, then storyboards, newsletters. It has got various advisories, posters, then minimals. So all this particular information and the content is freely available, freely downloadable, and users can actually access it and use it for the benefit of the general public. We also conduct on request basis online sessions for the teachers, for the students, for the schools, universities, as and when required. We also release certain books, information books and brochures. So these are all the information security related activities that we do, and NCERT, we proudly mention, has collaborated with us in actually furthering our motto, and we thank them for that. Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks, Ms. Simi, for giving a small brief about ISEA, and all the viewers, you should be, you have got a lot of inputs today, and we would really happy that we have an expert who has given us a completely in-depth understanding about various offences that we need to be aware of and how to handle it. It's not going to end with this. We are going to have Cyber Jaagrookta Diwas awareness programs every Wednesday, first Wednesday of the month. So today there have been a lot of participants who are part of our session, but as per the certification procedure, there is going to be a post-session quiz in which you will be participating, and whoever is going to score 50% and above is going to get a certificate. So the quiz is going to be based on the content today which has been discussed in this session. So for all the details of this event, you need to please visit the event page. So let me just show you where you have to visit for the details of this program and also for the further programs. Okay, so let me share my screen. I have to be, I don't have a permission to scare show. Yes, thank you. Just a minute.
So this is the session.
I'm sorry.
Yes, please, please.
I'm so sorry for that. So this is our CIET website, and as you are aware, there is in the menu bar you can find out events, and below the events you have workshop/training, where you get details of all the various events which are being done by CIET to build the capacity on online training, and also like digital education, and also to use technology in your education perspective. So you can keep seeing various programs coming up. So one of the today's program is also listed under current activity. When you go to the program title and click on it, you will be landing up in the exact event page. So the details of this program has been given here. Please kindly scroll down. We request all the viewers to please kindly scroll down. If you haven't registered, kindly register yourself by clicking on this link or by scanning this QR code. And you are right now watching this session. So we will be also putting up the exact session link as soon as this program is over. You will be able to see the exact session link here. So you can click on the link. If you have missed this, also you can watch this. Your friends have missed it, they can just watch by clicking on the specific link. And the step 3, you need to participate in the post-session activity. So as soon as the program is over, the link will be updated in this place. So we request you to come here to this page, click on the link and take up the quiz. And once you take up the quiz, you will get your certificate within 15 days of this particular program, that's 18th February. So this quiz is also this is like the day there is a mistake here. I'm so sorry for that. And you will be, the day you are taking up the quiz, you will get it within 15 days. And this particular quiz is going to be open till 18th February. So the quiz will be open from today till 18th February. So we request you to please see the dates here. If there is any updation, if the quiz is being extended, if there is any detail, you can keep watching the details in this particular place. So all the information will be updated in this particular place. And we also request you to give your feedback so that it will help us to understand what are the various areas you need little more training on, or what is your interaction, what is your experience with cybercrime. So please give your feedback and also share your experiences related to cybercrime in the form given here. So we request you to please keep watching this page, and whenever you would like to know whatever training is coming up, please keep watching us on the ciet.nic.in webpage, where you will be going to events, going for workshop and training, and then you land up on the event page. So I request all the participants to keep us, and as I said, like, we are launching the quiz today in collaboration with ISEA CDAC. The quiz will be on the same theme which we have the session today on offenses by and on the children. So can I have the launch banner on screen so that we have the details on screen. So I request all the participants to check yourself by taking up the quiz about your awareness in this area, so that you will be able to upgrade yourself if you're not aware of anything still. ISEA website is there for you. Please, you can refer there, and you can always learn and do self-learning yourself. So this is what is for. Only if you take up this post-session quiz, you will be receiving a certificate. So I thank ISEA for being a collaborator, and thanks for continuously supporting NCERT in this regard, and also being partner in launching this quiz. Thank you, ISEA.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, over to Raghu.
So thank you very much for this wonderful and I think precisely you have explained each and everything, Professor Dr. Debarati Haldar, Madam. Thank you very much for this wonderful session, and I'm sure this will help us to protect our children. This is the space where we need to make it safe for everyone. Nowadays we are the user for such platforms. Thank you very much for this wonderful topic and your research. Thank you very much for your time. And also, we would like to thank Ms. Simi P. She is a member of ISEA, CDAC Hyderabad, and we are launching this quiz in collaboration with ISEA. Thank you, Ms. Simi, for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Rahul.
And we also thank Dr. Angel for this, to convene this wonderful webinar for all of us, for all the stakeholders, especially our children. Thank you very much, Dr.
Thank you, Radul, and I just want to give one more information. And
Please.
every February, the second Tuesday is always like we usually celebrate like the Safer Internet Day, and this whole month of February we have a lot of events coming on cyber safety and security.
Yes. Right.
So we have a special panel discussion on Safer Internet Day as well. So I would request all the viewers to keep watching as for the event,
Right.
which is coming up. Thank you.
Right. Cyber safety and security is very, very important for all of us. So be with us and be updated, be aware. This is the very small and very precise word which describes everything for us. So be aware all the time, because we are in this tech age. Thank you very much all the participants and Dr. Angel especially for this session. This webinar session comes to an end now. Be with us. Keep watching PM eVidya channels and NCERT's official YouTube channel. This session comes to an end now. Namaskar.